Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I'm here with another tag video. This is called Off the Top of My Head tag, I think. It is a list of questions. I have them on my phone. 10 questions and about books, and I'm going to read them and I'm going to tell you my answer that I think of right away. So the first question is, what was your favorite picture book as a child? I actually still own one of my favorite picture books from my childhood. It's right here. It's called Goodnight Pippin by Joan Elizabeth Goodman. This is a very, very old book. Pippin is trying to go to bed. He will not go to bed, and his mother is telling him a story about how she got captured by pirates, I think. And so it turns into this big ordeal just trying to get him to go to bed. I really liked that book. I read it a whole bunch. I also remember reading the book Animals Don't Wear Clothing or something like that. My mom and my brother and I used to read that book before bed. So I don't know if that's a favorite, but it's one I remember reading a lot. The next question is, what series did you love as a child? I, of course, loved Goosebumps. I am a horror reader. I have been reading horror for a very, very long time. I also really got into Babysitter's Little Sister. So the Babysitter's Club is all about Christy and her friends. Well, Christy's stepsister Karen had her own series of books too. And she would talk about how it was so cool because she had two moms and two dads because her parents were divorced. So she had two best friends and she had two of everything. And then she was an inquisitive child that got into trouble. I really, really liked those books. I also really enjoyed The Saddle Club. I have one of those too. Hey, I found a Goosebumps book. I still have one of those. Egg Monsters from Mars. This one I think about way too much. Saddle Club. I was a horse girl. This is by Bonnie Bryant. It's about these three friends who have horses at this like horse club, horse corral place where you keep horses and they like train them, and I don't know what that's called. My brain is not working. I really liked those books too. This one was my favorite. That's why I still have it. This was number 6, where they went out west to a dude ranch. Number 3, the worst book you have read or tried to read. I can only think of 2 books that I have like not finished or DNF'd in recent years. The first one was Outlander. I read half of that book, did not care what was going to happen, did not care about the characters. It was incredibly too long, and I figured I'll just watch the show. So that's one of the worst books I've tried to read. I don't know. I didn't like it. The other one was Echo by Thomas Old Hvelt. That was another one. I got halfway through. It's about these 2 guys. They're and mountain climbing, and I didn't care what was going to happen to them, and it was, I don't know, I didn't enjoy it. So I would say that those 2 are probably the worst books I've read, just because those are 2 that I DNF'd as an adult. Number 4, your favorite reading or book memory. I don't know. I have a lot of memories about reading and about books because that's just what I've always done. I have very fond memories of sitting in, we used to have this old brown like rocking chair, and my brother and I would sit with my mom in that chair and she would read to us before bed. We read The Hobbit that way. I also remember one time my best friend in elementary school was sick with pneumonia and she couldn't come to school for like a month. It wasn't that long, but when you're a kid, it seems like forever. And I got this book from the Scholastic Book Fair. It was called Who Comes with Cannons. And I read that book and I loved it so much that I wanted to, for some reason, instead of just giving her the book to read, I like copied it down into a notebook so that I could give her the notebook, because I guess I didn't want to give her the book. I don't know. But I just remember I went straight to my room and read that book and started copying that book for her to read because I hadn't seen her in so long and I loved that book and I wanted her to read it too. So those are just 2 memories I have from my childhood about reading. Number 5, a book you loved as a movie. Holes by Louis Sachar? Holes. I don't know how to say his last name. That is one of the best book to movie adaptations I've ever seen. Yeah, I really like it. I also really, really love the adaptation, the movie, The Princess Bride. It's a pretty good adaptation of the book. The book is actually a little bit longer and has parts that don't need to be in it. Like, it's not that they don't need to be in it, but if you that one, the movie is actually better than the book. So favorite book as a movie, I would say Holes and The Princess Bride. A book you wish they would make into a movie. So many. There are so many books that I think would be good movies, but also like I don't always like it when you make them into movies because then the characters don't always look like how I expected them or thought of them in my head. I don't know if it would be interesting, but The Long Walk by Stephen King, this is one of my favorite Stephen King books, and I think that it would be such a cool movie. Like I can see it in my head. I don't know how interesting it would be though, because it's just about 100 boys that are walking. Obviously there's more to it. There's personal connections between them and everything like that. But I would love to see that as a movie. I think that would be a good I think that would make a good film. 7, a book character that you would like as a friend. I never know how to answer this. One of my favorite book characters, I don't know if that's one of the questions, but one of my favorite characters is Chauncey from The House on the Cerulean Sea. I don't know what it is about that kid, but I adore him. I wish he was real. I would want to be best friends with him. So I guess I would want him as a friend, even though I'm old and he's not. He's like 10 or something, but I don't know. He has my heart. I love him. I adore that child thing. As far as one as a friend, I don't know. I don't know. That's a really hard one. I don't know. I honestly can't come up with an answer for that question. Number 8, a place you want to visit because of a book you read. Some of these are hard for me to answer. I mean, I've been reading the Magnolia Parks books. They take place in London, so that would be pretty cool to visit. I've never been there. I don't necessarily want to go there just because I've read that book. One place that would be cool that is not a real place. One of my favorite book series is The Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey. And so it takes place on a planet called Pern. That would be pretty cool to visit. Maybe not because, there's like these destructive silver threads that try to kill everything. But, dragons. You get to see dragons. That'd be pretty cool. I guess sure, Pern. I would like to visit Pern. Number 9, a nonfiction book you would recommend. Oh my gosh, so many. I recently listened to Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. That was a great memoir. As You Wish by Carrie Elways. This is his memoir of working on The Princess Bride. Highly recommend this. Princess Bride is my favorite movie of all time and forever. You've seen it so many times. I adore Carrie Elways. This was a fabulous book. In fact, I got to go to a convention and hear him talk about this book after I'd read it, and that was so cool. Other nonfiction books. I really enjoyed The Glass Castle. That I read that earlier this year. I don't remember who wrote that, but I really enjoyed that book too. I could talk a lot about favorite nonfiction books, but I'll just leave you with those 3. And number 10, if you could hang out with an author all day, who would you pick and why? She has passed away, but I would pick Anne McCaffrey. I started reading her books when I was in middle school, and she's the one who wrote Dragon Riders of Pern. I don't know, she has other series too that I've read. She writes sci-fi fantasy novels. I love everything about her. I love the worlds that she's created. And I just think that it would be super cool to get to spend a day with her. The last question is who are you tagging? But I know these are tag videos, but I don't do them like that. I just like to answer questions and talk about books. So those are the 10 questions, the books off the top of my head, more than 10 book recommendations because I can't just have one answer for a question. That's me. That's how I've always been. So Now, I want to know, how would you answer these questions, but also, have you read any of these books and what did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.